Spurs take on the Sacramento Kings tonight in San Antonio, and looks like there will be a rising all-star with the Spurs.
You are Locked On Spurs, your daily San Antonio Spurs podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to Locked On Spurs right here on the Locked On NBA Network. I'm your host, Jeff Garcia, Spurs writer for Kings 5 San Antonio. Glad to have you back. Hope everybody's having a great middle of the work week. It is hump day, so let's get you over that hump and for the stretch run before the weekend begins. What are we talking about today? We're looking at tonight's game, Spurs-Kings. Can the Spurs snap their 6-game losing streak? What's going on in these 6 games? And we're going to ask our guest if he thinks the Spurs can get the W tonight. And then we're going to give a little love to Jeremy Sochan. That's right. He's been named to the 2023 Rising Stars roster for the All-Star Weekend 2023. Get a reaction. Then I have a very, very hot topic / question for our guest. And thank you for making Locked On Spurs your first listen each and every day. We are free and available wherever you get podcasts. And this episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Check out FanDuel.com/LockedOn today to get started, the official sports book of Locked On. Let's bring him on. He is Rudy Campos, making his way back right here at Locked On Spurs. Rudy, why does it feel like it's been a while, but yet it doesn't?
I was just going to ask you, it seems like it's been forever since I've been on Locked On Spurs. I'm like, maybe Jeff doesn't love me no more.
But then at the same time, it doesn't though, because you have that stretch. I think you did like 3 shows in a row for 1 week. I think partially I wanted to give you kind of a pause. I was like, okay, I'm pushing it too much.
I had that Jeremy Lin type of run of Lin Sanity where I was just on fire for a little bit, and then all of a sudden it cooled off.
Make sure to follow him on Twitter at Sweep the League and check out his show Sweep the League. They're getting things started with all sports, not just NBA, Spurs. They cover everything. Rudy's going to tell you about that later tonight. Rudy, how you doing in this losing streak? You all right?
Oh, I'm perfectly fine, man. It's always been that one key word throughout the entire year, development. I'm enjoying watching the team develop, and even some of the guys in Austin as well coming around. So I like seeing player development at its prime, and that's what we're seeing right now with the Spurs.
Oh, you're getting plenty of that season, that's for sure, because the L's are not – the L's are piling up. It's just the W's are not stacking. But the Spurs got the Kings tonight. The Spurs are riding a 6-game losing streak, so let's going to look at tonight's matchup, Spurs-Kings. Spurs 14-37, Kings 28-21. Are you a little surprised that the Kings are the third-best team right now? In the Western Conference, honestly, that is, I should say.
Yeah, in the Western Conference, honestly, yes and no. I mean, you've got to look at – they've got a dynamic duo of De'Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis. I'm just surprised that this Kings team is playing as well as they are, considering you've got, Golden State, you've got the Clippers, the Mavericks, even Phoenix, even with all the Lakers in there. Teams with really good veterans, and it just seems like the Kings are able to outplay those veteran teams. So I'm kind of surprised that they are up there.
He's got 6 players averaging double-figure scoring this year. That's Fox, Sabonis, Huerter, Barnes, Malik Monk, and Murray, Keegan Murray, that is, rookie. They come loaded with firepower. We're hoping that the Spurs won't allow the Kings to light the beam, because that would suck. But they've been lighting the beam a lot more often than not in Sacramento. I look at tonight's game, and I think it's going to be another tough out for the Spurs. They've been giving teams a little run. They forced Phoenix to OT, kind of hanging in there with the Wizards for about 2.5 quarters, and then the 3-ball just kept on falling for Washington. So I expect a little of the same. I think it's going to be a rinse repeat. They're going to stay close with Sacramento, and then, something's going to give. And it's always that one statistical category. You look at that last game versus Washington, Rudy. They got to the free throw line more. They turned the ball over less. They were about equal in rebounding with Washington. The Spurs were not shooting the ball well from inside the 3. They were shooting fine. It's just that one category, the 3-ball. The 3-ball got them. I think that could happen tonight because Sacramento has guys that can knock down the 3.
Yeah, they do. Let's not take for granted the Sacramento Kings team. They've got shooters, and they're loaded with shooters. De'Aaron Fox one, Kevin Huerter the other one, Harrison Barnes another one, Malik Monk can actually knock down three as well.
Yeah.
But also they've got former Spur Trey Lyles too, who can knock it down from 3-point range. So this is definitely a team that's well balanced. They've got great inside play with Sabonis and Keegan Murray. They've got great guard play. Their shooters can shoot. It's just going to be an all-around. I don't know, Spurs fans, hopefully they don't get me on Twitter, but I think it's going to be an all-around beatdown for the Spurs. This Kings team is for real, and they're top-notch from top to bottom.
Yeah, the three shot might be an issue for the Spurs. The Kings are ninth in the NBA in 3-point percentage at 37%. So they definitely hit them with the clip, and they chuck them up. They attempt 37 threes a game. So they're going to try to light it up. For the Spurs, though, as mentioned, they are being competitive. We saw the last two games at the AT&T, hanging in there with Phoenix, kind of sort of hanging in there with Washington. But the bright spot, and we'll talk a lot more about him later on, is Jeremy Sochan. He's really been coming on for the Spurs of late on both ends of the court.
Yeah, Jeremy's been playing extremely, extremely well. So what we're seeing that development that we've been talking about when it comes to Jeremy Sochan. And what's good about it is he's able to still produce while Keldon is producing. So that kind of gives fans a glimpse of what to expect, especially when Devin comes back. I understand when Devin comes back, his production may drop a little bit, Jeremy's. But at the same time, he could excel in other positions. He's going to be able to crash the boards a little bit more. May not be scoring as much, but then again, hey, there's nothing wrong with three guys averaging close to 15, 16 points a game for the Spurs if that's possible.
Yeah. And look, there's been other bright spots too. Zach Collins, a double-double versus the Wizards, and been playing well of late. He's looking like the top 10 pick that he was when the Blazers selected him. And again, you're right. This is about a developmental season. That they're getting better. We mentioned Collins, we mentioned Sochan, Keldon. He's kind of been. Is it safe to say kind of erratic this season, especially shooting? Is that safe to say, Rudy?
Are we talking Sochan or Collins?
I'm sorry. I'm not Sochan. I'm sorry. I meant Keldon. My mistake. Keldon Johnson.
Oh, Keldon. Yeah, with Keldon, you know what? His consistency has been really good the past few games, but we have seen him be inconsistent throughout the season. Shooting has definitely it's improved overall. He's getting to the basket. He's making plays happen. He's getting the team, riled up, ready to go. But the consistency really has to be there. He's got some nights where it's kind of a tough fall. But what I like about him is he continues to work. His energy, his drive is, his energy is really, really high. He's got a really good motor, and that's what you want to see out of Keldon is be that leader. And we talked about him being a leader at the beginning of the season, him and Devin. Keldon's really showing it, and it's actually spreading out to the rest of the guys. You mentioned Collins. Sochan's improved it a whole lot. You still have Trey Jones continuing his great season. This team is not going to win a whole lot of games, but they are going to be competitive night in and night out.
Yeah, they are, and they that's the one consistent thing they've been showing this season. They can be competitive. Have there been blowouts? Of course, there has been. I mean, look at the Alamo Dome game, the perfect example versus the Warriors. But all in all, this team does tend to hang in with teams that, at least on paper, should just trounce them. So that's good to know. Now, we're looking at this losing streak, Rudy. This is kind of the big one. So for 12 straight games, the Spurs have shot a lower field goal percentage than their opponent. 12 straight games. Even before the win streak, when they got a couple of W's, they were still getting outshot. I think this is something you're going to have to address. Is this a byproduct of losing Chip England? Is this the teams just need to develop players from knocking down that outside shot, whether it be Trey Jones, who openly says that he needs to work on it. Sochan, he's getting better at it. We mentioned Keldon Johnson. He's been up and down shooting the ball. What do you think of that?
Honestly, man, the thing too is that I don't know if we can go really that far down the rabbit hole with Chip England not being there. I think it does make some sense because he's not there. Shooting percentage is down. But then again, I mean, we really don't see any shooters on this team outside of Doug McDermott who can really regularly knock down, a three or even a jump shot. Outside of that, I mean, we really can't name anybody else who's a really good knockdown shooter who is guaranteed to be, one of those streaky shooters to get it going from the outside. Yeah, it's just going to come down to just consistency on the rhythm, get a rhythm, just continue to throw up shots. I mean, hell, when I was playing basketball, we were doing 100, 150 jump shots a day in the morning and another 100 in the afternoon. So it's just got to get a rhythm. It's going to have something that's going to come in time. Shooters shoot, and that's what they've got to do. They got to continue to shoot the ball. Eventually, they'll knock them down.
And the closest I can think of to a knockdown shooter is McDermott on the roster, but that's about it. Maybe Devin. But it's interesting to see that in this losing a streak. So Spurs, Kings tonight. Oh, by the way, everybody, in case you're wondering where the Spurs rank in the NBA in 3-point percentage, 25th at 34%. So they're near the bottom. It's bad. So who do you got? Kings or Spurs?
For me, it's going to be the Sacramento Kings. I think it's going to add another loss to the San Antonio Spurs season. We give them 7 in a row from the L column. But with De'Aaron Fox, Domantas Sabonis, again, we are previewing the game, so we don't know about the injury report coming out.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. But saying if everybody does play, I think this is going to be way too much. Kevin Huerter tends to play really well against San Antonio Spurs, really good shooter. So I think De'Aaron Fox is going to really have a big game. Sabonis is going to really dominate. And I think the Spurs are going to see why Keegan Murray, everybody wanted Keegan Murray in the silver and black as well. I think it's going to be a Kings rout.
I'm definitely looking forward to seeing Sochan versus Murray. I think that'll be fun to watch. The two rookies going at it. For me, I'm going to go with you as well. I'm going to go with the Kings. Spurs going to hang in there, rinse, repeat, everybody, and then find a way, or there'll be something that gets them all out of sorts. Against the Wizards, it was a 3-shot as well as a zone defense on the Spurs. We'll see what the Kings do to San Antonio. Hopefully the Spurs can stop this 6-game losing skid. But we're not done talking. Up next, we're going to talk about Jeremy Sochan. Yeah, a big round of applause for him. He is a rising NBA star. We're talking about that news that hit, as well as a big question regarding Sochan and perhaps putting on a different all-star uniform moving forward. But I want to talk to you about FanDuel. Look, this year, the only app you need at your Super Bowl party is FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. We're really excited about our new sports betting partner for Locked On because they're the #1 sports book in America, FanDuel. And if you're new to FanDuel, that's even better. They have so many great features that make betting on sports fun and easy. Download the FanDuel app right now so you can bet Super Bowl 57 with a no-sweat first bet. You'll get up to $3,000 back in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't win. FanDuel lets you bet on everything from the money line to point spreads to who will score a touchdown. The FanDuel Sportsbook app is safe, secure, and super easy to use. Best of all, you get all your paid winnings instantly. Yeah, you get paid right then and there. So join FanDuel today at FanDuel.com/lockedon to claim your no-sweat first bet on Super Bowl 57. That's FanDuel.com/lockedon. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NFL. We're back with Rudy Campos. He is with Sweep the League, and we're talking about your silver and black and Jeremy Sochan making it to the rising NBA All-Star level. He'll be playing at that game in Utah at the 2023 NBA All-Star Weekend. I'm still waiting for the news to drop, Rudy, that you're part of that draft pool, the rising stars in the NBA. I mean, you should. You're averaging about a double-double.
Yeah, right now, I didn't get the call, unfortunately, but barring any injury to any player, I'm next in line according to Adam Silver. So fingers crossed that my 10 points and 10 turnovers a game that I'm averaging will get me into the Rising All-Star game.
Hey, remember last year when Devin got snubbed?
Yeah.
I mean, he had the chops, he had the numbers, to make that a reality, and the NBA looked him over. So Sochan, do it for San Antonio, do it for Devin, do it for yourself. But yeah, he is a rising star according to the NBA. He's been named to the 2023 Rising Stars roster, so he will be playing and representing the silver and black in Utah. Your first reaction when you saw the news?
Bravo for Jeremy Sochan. Bravo, he deserves it. He's playing really good at the right time for the San Antonio Spurs heading into the All-Star break.
Right.
Let's be real. Let's be honest here. He hasn't been consistent all year. There's been times where he goes, 1 point, 0 points, really bad shooting. But the consistency, like we've been talking about, is there. He's improving game to game. I'm pretty sure Pop's really happy with his development. He is one of the better rookies this season. Not one of the more flashiest or exciting rookies that we're seeing on SportsCenter, like a Benedict Mathurin or any of those guys, but he definitely is one of the better rookies. Shows why he was drafted early in the draft.
Yeah, I was gonna be flipping chairs and throwing the TV out if the NBA snubbed him. I was like, please don't let the Spurs record get in his way. Please don't. A good thing they didn't. But you want to talk about development and why he earned that spot to be a rising star? Check this out. In October, 23 minutes a game, 8 points per game, 4 rebounds per game. Not bad. 2 assists. Pretty good. So let's move to November now. 25 minutes per game. Now he's averaging 8.1 points per game, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. Okay, there's some steadiness there, but you're seeing little things pick up. His steals go up to 1 a game. His shooting went from 46% in October to 47%. Little steps. Now we go to December. Now the Spurs give him a little bit more minutes, 25.8 minutes per game. I'm sorry, in December, excuse me. And now he blossoms out to 11 points per game, 6.2 rebounds, 3.2 assists, and you're seeing the progress. You see turnovers go down a little bit. He went from 1.7 in November to 1.4. Rebounding spikes. Defensive rebounds go from 2.5 in November to 4.1. Now this month, he jumps up to 28 minutes per game, 12 points per game, 5 rebounds per game, 3 assists, and his shooting is at 45%. And his 3-shot right now is 38%. Now, that's pretty good considering he started out November, for example, shooting 14%.
That is huge.
I mean that's huge right there. What do you think about those numbers showing that month-to-month progression?
I think it exactly says what everybody should be thinking. Just how you start the season, especially a rookie in the league, doesn't mean anything. It's how you finish the season, how you start, doing throughout the season. As you can tell, his numbers are increasing, especially lately. Shooting percentage is way, way up compared to where he was at the beginning of the season. It happens. Rookies are not going to come in and dominate. Not everybody is a Paolo Banchero or Benedict Mathurin this year, where they're going to come in and just dominate the league, for their team. It's going to take some time. We all knew Jeremy coming into the season and on the Spurs roster that he was not a shooter. He was not a scorer. It's going to have to be something that was developed. Back in the day when they had a certain Kawhi Leonard coming into the league, he was not a scorer. He wasn't a shooter. He developed all that under the Spurs system. Not saying Jeremy's the same way or he will be the same guy, but it takes time for them to develop a scoring pattern. And Jeremy is doing a really good job. He just has to continue to shoot the ball and not worry about it.
I had a chance to talk to Sochan in the post-game locker room time after the Wizards game, and we had a chat about on the offensive end. And I reminded him, I go, hey, you were not kind of the go-to primary guy in Baylor. Kind of laughed a little bit with me, and he said that he thinks that it's more the confidence and trust that the franchise is giving him. How big is that for a rookie to get that confidence and trust from the San Antonio Spurs, the 5-time championship franchise?
It is everything, because Pop is one of those guys that doesn't really rely on rookies when they are drafted. A lot of times you see the rookies head to Austin. I bet you $100 he probably thought he was going to be in Austin most of the year. Shows the confidence that Pop and the coaching staff have in Jeremy Sochan. It should bolster his, mentality that much more, knowing that the franchise is definitely on his shoulders, as well as Keldon and Devins right now. Those are the 3 guys that are going to be leading the San Antonio Spurs into the future. And it's not a bad thing at all. I mean, that's a really good trio. They're all young. They're all going to develop very quickly together. It's a very bright future for the San Antonio Spurs.
Yeah. And by anybody who's interested in knowing this, I did ask Sochan when is he going to change his hair color. He said he doesn't know. So those are who are keeping track of.
I bet you it's All-Star Weekend. I bet you it is.
I hope it is. It better be.
He's got to make a statement.
I mean, he definitely can. You're seeing him even embracing the defensive end of the court. Getting under the skin of multiple players, from Steven Adams to even Luka Doncic to Marcus Morris Jr. Was it? So yeah, and here's the thing too. He's on pace to becoming the 4th rookie to average at least 10 points per game, 4 rebounds per game, and 2 assists in his first season with the Spurs, joining the likes of Tim Duncan, David Robinson, and the OG himself, Willie Anderson. So That's some company right there, Rudy.
Yeah, man, Willie Anderson, you're bringing up the old guns now. I mean, he's a special kid, and that's what we've all got to realize is that I was very. I'm not gonna lie. I can sit here on Locked On Spurs. I was very doubtful when they drafted him. I figured they drafted him just for defensive purposes, but now that I've seen that he's able to get to the basket, he's able to score. He's got a little bit of an offensive arsenal that didn't really show at Baylor. It really shows the kind of scouting that Spurs has. But joining the likes of Tim, David, and Willie of all people, that's great for Jeremy. That's great for Jeremy. It's a great start for his NBA career.
Yeah. So just some other little tidbits about his selection. I look at Sochan, and again, number 9 pick. He wasn't the go-to guy, as we mentioned, at Baylor, and for him to make these advances so early in his NBA career, it's just awesome. It's awesome to see. So he joins the last time the Spurs had a rising star was Keldon Johnson back in 2021. He's the 10th player in Spurs history to be selected to the Rising Stars event, and we'll see who how that shakes out. Is this going to propel him to different heights at such an early age? He's still 19 years old, everybody, and he's every bit of a teenager. He's every bit of it. So, and just see what he's doing so far. He scored in double figures 26 times this season. He had that 30-point monster game recently.
32, I believe, yeah.
Oh, 32, yeah. It's just amazing, and just credit to the Spurs too, scouting him, selecting him at number 9. You mentioned Keegan Murray. A lot of the fans wanted him to drop to a 9 for the Spurs. He didn't, but I mean, Sochan's not a bad substitute, not a bad replacement player for what he is doing. But we're gonna put Rudy in the hot seat, and it's gonna be about Sochan and wearing an NBA All-Star jersey. We're going to get his thoughts about that in just a few seconds right here on Locked On Spurs with Rudy Campos of Sweep the League. But before we get into all that, I want to talk to you about Built Bar. If you're looking for a delicious treat, but you don't want all the fat and calories, then you got to try a Built Bar. Just got through the holidays. If your goal is to eat a little healthier this year, Built Bar has you covered. They won't compromise taste, and they got everything that you need. You got to try Built. With Built, healthy is actually tasty. They're delicious, so you won't even think that they're even good for you, but they are. They're the perfect combo attack for your New Year's resolution to lose some weight. What makes Built Bar so good? Well, they're covered in 100% real chocolate. That's right, real chocolate, and they come in unbelievable flavors such as churro, peanut butter, brownie, and coconut almond. I don't know how they do it. Built does it. They taste like a candy bar, but they got great macros. 130 calories, 4 grams of sugar, and a whopping 17 grams of protein. Yeah, that's all packed in there in 100% real chocolate. And look, for years, Built has been talking about getting your Built Bars at Built.com, but now you can get them at Walmart or Sam's Club. Go to Walmart today, go to the pharmacy section, look for the box of Built Bars. They got a 4-bar box there, and that includes cookies and cream, double chocolate, or coconut puff. If you're at a Sam's Club, and you're near one at least, then they have a 13-bar box with hit flavors like brownie batter and churro. Look, you can thank me later. We're back right here on Locked On Spurs with Rudy Campos of Sweep the League. Follow him on Twitter at Sweep the League. And we're going to stuff the ballot. We're going to get Rudy on that Rising Star roster so he can join Sochan and Keegan Murray. I think they drop about 80 on your head, Rudy. I think they dropped 80 on you.
Wait, you know what? We should ask Locked On Spurs to vote for me for somewhere in this All-Star thing to see how many votes I can actually get. Because you can do a write-in, but yeah, go out there and vote for me, whether it be the Rising Star or the actual All-Star game. Everything's been counted to hell. Just do that anyway.
Yeah, man. Remember back in the day, you could do write-ins? I don't know if can you still do that now?
Yeah.
Can you still do write-ins?
Everything's online, man. But I remember going to Spurs games and they would give you the ballot, or you'd
the
go.
Ballot, I remember, yeah.
You could even at the time, I think you can go to McDonald's and write in the ballot. There was a point you could go to McDonald's, write your All-Stars in it, or circle them or whatever, and put them in the box.
Oh, man,
that's when McDonald's was a huge sponsor.
I remember that, yeah. And I remember the the write-in fiascos. Like, remember Pachulia was as a write-in, and he was actually getting a spot.
Yeah.
I mean, fans used to take this and run with it, everybody, back in the day. But speaking of NBA All-Stars, I got a big question for you. Put you on the hot seat here.
Yeah.
Buy or sell that Sochan will be an NBA All-Star before Keldon Johnson and Devin Vassell?
Yeah. I love you bringing me on the shows because you put me on the hot seat all the time. I don't hear.
I didn't bring up. I didn't bring up Trey Jones as a topic, so that's good.
No, you brought him up though, so he's
brought him up, but he wasn't a topic for to dive into.
Honestly, I'm gonna sell. I'm gonna sell at the point of
okay.
Jeremy's playing a fantastic ball, but All-Star level, it needs to be at a whole nother level, and I don't think he's going to be there anytime soon. If I have one player that definitely is going to go, probably it's going to be Keldon, the way he's been playing. If he continues that play, he'll be, All-Star consideration. I think Devin, before his injury, would have been playing at another level as well. So I think those two guys are the best bets to see a Spur in the All-Star game, unless they go out and get, a superstar by trade or something.
Sure.
But I don't think I'm selling it. Jeremy's not going to make an All-Star game before one of those guys. He may make it later on down the line, but not before those guys.
Or they get thrown into, a mess in a good way. If they draft Scoot or Wemby, I could definitely see one of them making an All-Star squad.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Wemby for sure. Scoot for sure, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, well, cross fingers, everybody. The Spurs get one of those picks. This was a little tough for me. Whew. I'm gonna also sell. I think KJ gets it first, and then we'll see. I mean, that's if, and I don't think he'd be voted in though. I think it'd be one of those reserves situation or a fill-in, kind of like the way DeJounte Murray got in with the Draymond Green getting hurt. I think it'll be like that, just because the rebuild. Let's face it, fans look at the records, and the fans account for 50% of the vote. That's a bulk of it, right? It's half of it right there. So, and yeah, it's a popularity contest too. You can understand why Sochan was the second leading fan vote getter among the Spurs behind Keldon Johnson, because he has that personality, he has the hair, the cheeky tagline he uses a lot. See him get under the skin of other players, so you can get why that's happening. It's a popularity contest. Let's be real, Rudy. It is, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's very real. That's just very, very real.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, that's a really good question. But we need to hear what fans think. Do you think that Sochan will be an NBA All-Star before Keldon, before Devin? And what do you think about tonight's game? Spurs-Kings, as well as Sochan named a rising NBA star. We need to hear from you. Rudy, tell everybody that can chat with you on social media and about Sweep.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter, and you can fight with me on Twitter at Sweep the League. We can definitely go back and forth. We're reaching a lot of NFL info right now. A lot of Spurs talk, NBA All-Star Weekend coming. We've got the Super Bowl coming, so we got a ton of stuff going on. And I normally name a lot of players when it comes to the Spurs 50th celebration, but I'm going to name one player only this time, and I'm going to definitely direct it towards DeJounte Murray, because he couldn't remember the guy that the Spurs put before him from Argentina, and that was one Nicolas Laprovitola.
Yep.
So DeJounte, remember that name, because even he was better than you at that time.
Oh, look at you. Just
that's what he said. He's the one that said it. He said it. He said
That's
it.
Right. He did say it. You put him over me? That's what he said. Over me? You bring
exactly.
in my kid? Yeah, Oh, man. Yeah. That March game when DeJounte comes back to the AT&T, that's going to be fun.
You think he gets more heat than Kawhi did?
Yes.
I think so. Is there something about it? I think Kawhi left, but he didn't say anything about it, like anything derogatory.
No, he didn't. DeJounte's just been popping at the mouth since, almost like immediately he got traded. Remember the Instagram message? 15 years for this team to get better. Things are bigger than basketball behind the scenes that are messed up. They got to revise things. So, yeah, he started popping off right away. Oh, we got to go to that game, Rudy. We got to go to that game.
I'm circling it right now.
All right. And like you said, we want to hear from you. So you can follow me on Twitter at Jeff G Spurs Zone. And we thank you for making Locked On Spurs your first listen today. Make your second listen game to game NBA, every moment, every top performance, every result. Locked On Game to Game covers every game from across the NBA with local analysis that only Locked On can deliver. Follow Game to Game on Locked On NBA, available on the Odyssey app, YouTube, wherever you get podcasts. Just like Locked On Spurs, Odyssey app, YouTube, the Kens 5 Plus app, so many other platforms. And don't forget to vote for Rudy Campos for the NBA Rising Star game. Do it right now. Let them know how you feel at Sweep the League. So for Rudy Campos, I am Jeff Garcia. We're going to put a lock on this episode of Locked On Spurs.